2 matches played, 2 matches lost. What went wrong for Orlando Pirates against Marumo Gallants? Well, as it happens, that's exactly what we're talking about in this video. Starting with Orlando Pirates building from the back. You have Mariko and Nduli dropping to try and help build out from the back. But the issue is Marumo Gallants were having none of this. If you look, you can clearly see that there are 2 players who are ready to jump on and press them if they were to get the ball. So what did Orlando Pirates end up doing? Well, they ended up trying to just go over that press and switch the ball across. So now Nduli and Mariko are basically not involved in a game. But if they were involved in a game, then you will see something else. Mariko has the ball here. He could turn across and pass the ball to his right. But what does he do? He rushes a forward pass. Because at this point, it seems as though they were told, hit them while you have time. If you see small space, go forward. And I will say, Mariko seems to be a very good player, but what seems to be a problem with him, I think his decision making of wanting to shoot when he doesn't have to shoot, of wanting to make a forward pass when he can make a sideway pass. Oh, because in South Africa, for whatever reason, a person who plays a back pass is the devil or does not know football. Sometimes you just need to calm down. You have 90 minutes and you can play your side passes, you can build confidence and keep the ball. But Pirates were not doing that. But on top of that, Pirates were doing the same thing that they did in their first game against Polokwane City, and that is keeping their left and right back, which is Hoto and Mashiloane, keeping with, right? So you have Hoto bottom of your screen, you have Masheluane on top of your screen. So what this would permit Pirates to do is to then have Hoto play the ball to Osuna Police, who would then drive with the ball across, and then since Masheluane is keeping with on the right hand side, when the ball is played to him, he tries to hit those crosses first time. And we'll see this with Hoto as well, and how this actually does work for Orlando Pirates. They just need to find or continue doing it much more often, because what they did often is not this, because what they did more often is going just direct. They get the ball there, you see Nduli is trying to go long, they mark him, but after that you see the ball is played long, cross to Mashilwane, the ball is played to Hoto, and then in this case he gets in and he almost scores, but then he loses balance. You see this thing going over and over and over again. Pirates getting the ball and then trying to go direct. And then, my friends, it worked. Do subscribe to the channel before we talk about the goal that Tito Maswanganyi actually scored. Because once again, Pirates are playing from the back and they want to go direct. Mbogazi, with his educated left foot, plays the ball long. This pass is similar to the one that we just watched before, except that it's 2 different times. And then Hoto plays the ball across, and then Tito Maswanganyi scores. Pirates lead the game. But then they realize that, hey, this thing of going direct seems to be working. So they just kept on pulling the thread, because they clearly saw that Marumo Gallants were sleeping on their right hand side, and they were like, okay, what we are going to do right now is that we are going to continue exploiting that side, because, well, it's working, and would you blame them? So they continued just spamming the passes to the left sometimes, and then when they got an opportunity as well, they would switch it to the other side all the time. The ball is going long. And Gallants, to be fair, they were kind of making it easy for the Pirates. With Ungube on the right and Umaboja on the left, making silly mistakes like this, giving Pirates opportunities. Obviously, Pirates were going to continue doing the same thing. Even in the second half, they were still trying to do the same thing. Play long balls, Mbogas, play direct balls instead of trying to play the ball from the back. But that was the problem. And this is why I asked myself, when I saw Tito Maswanganyi getting the ball here and trying to force a through ball here, I was like, is it perhaps that Orlando Pirates are lacking chemistry and the players don't understand each other's movements? Because this is one thing that Orlando Pirates fans have been complaining about. Oh, there's been way too many changes in the team. I have a slightly different opinion to what people are saying. I'm obviously not a Pirates fan. But from a perspective of someone looking from outside in, what I'm seeing is a coach who's coming into a club and is not saying I will continue where Jose ended, but is saying I want to instill my own style of play and I'm willing to lose matches as long as they're going to do things my own way. Because Abombata, for example, they're fit, but they're not being included in the squad. Abo Mabasa, they're not being included, which you could give an excuse and say, but Mabasa was also missing chances last year when he was given an opportunity, to a point whereby Mahopa ended up coming back and being a starter. So he probably has his own reasons. But you can see that it seems like the chemistry is lacking in those players. Maybe that's why they brought back Umahopa for this game and Mfukeng came on. But look at what Mfukeng does. Very first pass, he tries to go long. So to me, this seems like they were told just bypass the press by chipping the ball over that line of pressure that is trying to mark you. And then you see why they were also not very keen on playing centrally, because if you look here, there is 5 Gallants players centrally. And whenever the ball was played wide, they didn't mind. But the issue came when the pass came inside and they were just all going to converge and force you. So then they just kept on going direct over and over again. And at times it did work. Like this chance again, the ball is played across. Mfukengi crosses the ball, but then Umahopa should have scored there, but it doesn't score. So then Pirates went to another plan whereby Mfukeng Nohoto, with that understanding, with that chemistry, knew how their movements should alternate. So for example here, Hoto has the ball, he's already wide, but Mfukeng is like, I'm going to stay wide, because if Mfukeng stays wide, those two other guys, Ungube nomsendani, are going to think, you know what, we need to go across and press him. And as they do that, they leave that huge gap behind, which can now be exploited by someone who's smart enough to see that, hey, my name is Nokoyo Kwaye, but I'm going to go and be in that space. And then it does try Shem, but then it just doesn't work. Once again, this time around, it's Hoto who's wide. That space is wide open again. They make a run there. The ball is, they try to cross it, but there's a recover. Again, Hoto plays the ball there. Pirates tries to cross, it doesn't work. And look at this when I talk about chemistry. Hoto gets the ball, right? And then it drives inside. But as it does that, look at Mfukeng. He's now going wide so that now when they play the ball to him, he can be there. And like clockwork, defenders will go to him, leaving space behind, and then Pirates can try and score the goal. Now let's talk about defense. But before we talk about defense, if you have not liked the video, please do make sure to like it. I am saying these things because I feel like from a tactical point of view, Pirates were not horrendous. They were not like altogether horrible. They still created some chances, but they still need to fix how they are going to be patient in their build up, because if they can fix that, then they stay in that game much longer than, and they look much more dangerous. Because in the second half, we started seeing this thing in their defense. So for starters, if we look in the first half, they were pressing with what seems to look exactly like their defensive shape, right? Uh, you will see something. It's a 4-2-3 and then 1 up front. And you see again the same shape here, with Unduli, Nomariko being ready to step up and press the ball, and then they can win it and try to counter fast and then score. You see this thing again, 4-2-3-1, and then when a person tries to receive the ball in the half space, Mariko can then pressure him, and then they can try and win the ball back. But the issue with this is that this thing also has a lot of gaps in it. And Marumo Gallants were able to find these passes with ease. And, they just find a way. They play the ball around. All of a sudden, they're carrying themselves much closer to the box. Even with the leveler, the goal. Like the ball is just played over, Mariko falls over, and then they get the ball. First pass inside the box. Second pass, third pass, the ball is played to the back post. By the way, people are blaming Mashiloane. Mashiloane, if you can see, I forgot to highlight him. He's the one who was trying to cover. The person who was supposed to be in that area is Moremi, but you see he's late. If we can just go back a bit, you will see that At this point, Mashilwane is marking two people on top of your screen. And as the ball comes closer, he comes out of the defensive line to put pressure. And then he leaves that guy free at the back post. And Umorem is only arriving now. When the ball is chipped back for the fourth pass, then the fifth pass, and then they score that goal. It's 1-1. Second half, look at how bad this press is. Look at how many touches Gallants play. Like they just play around Pirates, and Pirates are not winning that ball. 13 passes, 13 passes, and Pirates did not touch the ball. You would have sworn that the Gallants were a bigger team. It just does not make any sense to me. So yeah, and they continue just playing like that. And for the goal that cost them, Gallants presses them, they play the ball across, and then it's across. But before we talk about that, there is 4 Pirates players in that box and only 2 Gallants. And yet somehow a Gallants player is able to get the ball and score. Certain things need to be fixed. I don't think a combination of Mbogas and Siema is a good one, especially since you also have Mashilwan who's new. I think that as a coach who wants to implement his style of play, I respect that. But that does not mean you have to change everything now, does it? You can make changes here and there. Like you're experimenting with Radio Pan. Okay, keep him as a striker. He's not necessarily connected with anyone else besides Maswangai. But mind if you're also going to make changes at the back. And then in midfield, it's Mareko and Duli. All different. And then the attackers, you have Apolis, who's also new. You have Moremi, who's also new. There's just way too many changes, and perhaps this might end up working, but I don't think Orlando Pirates fans have that much patience. But what did you guys think? Go check out how Sundowns drew with Chippa United, and whatever video that is here that YouTube thinks you might like. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and bye.